Hello, everybody. This is Joey Allen on the Bull Mountain Podcast, brought to you by Happy Hollow Outdoors. And today we're interviewing Dale Raper. Dale, welcome to the Bull Mountain Podcast.
Oh, thank you. It's good to be here.
I'm not sure if you know much about what we do here.
Not much.
I didn't think so. Anyway, we get the opportunity to interview Mr. Dale Raper today, which is odd because he's usually the one doing the interviews.
Yeah, I dropped the ball and didn't get our interviewees in here this week, so things happen.
And I'm the great backup plan, so
yeah,
I'm always available as a backup plan. So here we go. So Dale, I got some questions here to ask you, and we'll roll with it and see how this goes. Tell us about growing up in the Vina-Atwood area.
Well, see, I grew up in Red Bay, went to Red Bay through the 6th grade.
And then you moved off.
And then we moved to Halltown when I was in the 5th grade. Yeah, 5th grade. And then lived there till I graduated. And then whenever me and Amanda got married, lived down to Gristmill just for a little while.
How many years ago was that?
When me and Amanda got married?
Yeah.
24 years ago. 24 years and a few weeks.
I got you. Well.
Yeah. But, yeah, I didn't live in Atwood or Vina until 7 years ago.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I thought you were always from that area.
Halltown, Burnout.
Well, all my Quinn relatives were from the Burleson area. Yeah. That's where they're all buried.
Yeah.
Over at Burleson Cemetery. Well, tell us about fishing, hunting in your youthful days.
You know, so growing up, I fished every chance I got. Didn't get a whole lot of chances. Didn't seem like it was a whole lot back in anyway. I wanted to fish every day and couldn't. But my daddy, he was a logger. And so he had me skidding wood when I was 10 years old on a 518 Caterpillar skidder.
Was it a winch skidder or grapple?
Yeah, cable skidder.
Cable. I know, I've done that too.
Most everybody now, they say 10-year-old. Yeah, I was 10 years old, went skidding wood, But anyway, so that's pretty much what we done. So growing up, I thought the only time you could go fishing when it was raining. We'd get rained out of the woods, you know what I'm saying? Couldn't work in the woods, so we'd go fishing then. But my Uncle Jimmy, he'd take me a good bit whenever Daddy'd let me go. It wasn't like Daddy kept me beat down, not never let me do anything. But I wanted to go every day and couldn't, But my Uncle Dennis, he was a fisherman. Bluegills is what it started out on. And then that went to crappies and then catfish, and then bass, and tournament fishing become a thing when I was 17 years old, just shortly before I graduated. And then I blew a ton of money on that for about 10 years and then realized that's what I was doing, was just blowing money. Neglected my family a whole lot doing that. That's one regret I have about fishing. Put that before them a whole lot of times. And again, that's a major regret. I mean, don't matter what your passion is, God should be first, and then your family. But I've caught a lot of fish.
So what about trapping? Who got you into trapping?
Trapping, so I was kind of interested in doing that, and I never would do it because I always use dogs hunting. Horror stories, what you anti-hunters and everything else is going to tell you, that's going to break a dog's leg and blah, 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 And anyway, was interested in doing that because of the coyote problem I had on some hunting ground. Me and a friend of mine, Rodney Kennedy, got to talking about it, and he was interested in doing it. Then a mutual friend of ours, Ronnie Wooten, he had been trapping for a couple of years, and we got to talking to him about it, and he went to explaining the anatomy of a trap to us and how everything works and all that. Well, flip, it ain't gonna hurt no dog. And for anybody that don't believe it, I'll stick my hand in a trap. I will literally set the trap and put my hand in it and show them that it ain't gonna break no bones. It don't do it. Now, you could probably get some lion traps, some mountain lion traps, some big steel, and might break a bone. I don't know. I ain't never messed with none of them. But what we use for coyotes ain't gonna. But anyway, Ronnie, me and Snowman ain't never been rock throwing distance from my house. This was in, I don't even remember what year it was. But anyway, a couple of Ronnie's buddies, they was putting on a trapping school out in Texas, West Texas. So he said, y'all need to go to that. I said, Flip, I ain't going to that. Yeah, you need to go to that. So we wound up, me and Snowman talked ourselves into it, paid the money. We struck out one Friday evening, go to Memphis, get on 40, and we just hammered down, head that way. We finally made it there. Really neat place. We left the blacktop and went 27 miles on a dirt road to the little old bunkhouse we stayed in. And stayed out there, trout for 6 days. Like I say, it was school, didn't catch a whole lot. Nobody caught much of anything. But there's just too many. So there'd been a school there the week before. Had been 10 guys there trapping. So everything was smelled up. They'd done seen everything in the book thrown at them, and it was just a learning experience. So, Andy Weiser and Wayne Derrick was the 2 instructors. They just showing us their best sets and what to do in certain situations or whatever, Learn a whole lot. Once we got back, it's still just a lot of stuff, trial and error, But I really do enjoy doing it. Our fur ain't worth a whole lot here, but, you taking out coyotes and bobcats and you helping everything else out,
helping the turkey population.
Oh, turkey and deer, rabbits, anything. Oh, this guy asked me one time, he said, you think a coyote's actually catching a turkey? I said, yeah, sure do. I'd found a pile of scat had feather veins in it. He said, there ain't no way. I said, well, I'm just telling you what I found. Well, the next day he found in the middle of a cutover turkey feathers everywhere. He went on up and checked his camera, and guess what's holding a full-grown gobbler in its mouth? A coyote. So yeah, coyotes do catch turkeys.
Yeah.
They don't unless they just get the opportunity. They opportunists. I don't figure they go climbing a tree to get one off a roost, but they gonna kill them.
Yeah. So growing up in this area, who were probably some of your biggest influences?
I'd have to say my daddy had been my biggest one. Daddy, he struggled with alcohol when he was young and overcome that. And I seen what a man's supposed to be. Everybody's got their demons. Everybody's got their problems, but at the end of the day, them problems don't matter. You're supposed to do what you're supposed to do,
Yeah.
That old saying, just man up, And then there's a guy, we're going to have him on here in a couple of weeks, Lowell Umphers. Lowell, he was a teacher, English teacher over at Vina. And he really taught me a lot about life lessons. Just from hearing his experiences and different things. And a lot of people called him goofy because he was always cutting up. There was 2 Mr. Umphreses over there, and that's the way some people would identify him was Goofy Umphers. I never did call him Goofy Umphers. I just thought he was funny, and I thought, that's just the way he was. I wasn't going to call him Goofy, but he really taught me a whole lot, just his character witness is, and
I've known him for a long time. He's done a lot of things.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be interesting.
All over the world that he's done for other people that is just astounding.
Some of the things that he's done that he didn't have to be doing, right. For people. And he ain't going to want blew up about that either,
No.
But he, you can get hung up doing the right things for the wrong reasons, and that's not why he was doing them. He was doing them because he was led to do them, and I noticed that. But them 2, and I've got one uncle left. Had some good uncles, I mean, teach you how to work. If you didn't work, it'd get you in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, it didn't matter if you was 10 years old or not. I mean, they'd talk to you like you was a grown man. You'd figure it out pretty quick, you know.
Learn to work young. That's right.
Well, I guess you worked for Jimmy at one point in time, right?
Jimmy Raper, I did.
You know, I mean, so you can imagine what kind of talking to that was.
Yeah, he taught me some work ethic.
You
He
know,
sure did over the
and
years.
but I will have to say, Daddy, he was really hard on me. But, you know, he'd get on me, and I mean, he'd talk rough now. I mean, and I don't hate that any of that happened. I'm glad it all did, you know. I'm not no snowflake like Dustin. But, you know, somebody get on me, it don't hurt my feelings, you know. I mean, I just go with it, you know. Yeah. But my Uncle Dennis, he never did get on me. He'd call me offside after Daddy had got on me, and he'd say, now, this is why he done that, you know, and explain it. So I always had a lot of respect and love for him on account of that, you know. Yeah,
Jimmy, one of the most terrifying moments of my life, I was with Jimmy Raper. And we were out here at church where they were building the gym.
Yeah.
And
that's where he passed away at.
Yeah, we were painting I-beams. And so he and I were in a scissor lift at the top of that roof, and I was holding cardboard up while he painted those I-beams to keep the paint off the insulation.
Right.
And he was running from side to side, and that scissor lift was just, I thought it was going to flip over. And I've never been so scared in my life, I don't think, but I was so scared. I was too scared to tell him I was scared.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, Jimmy was a very intimidating man, and I think the world of him today. And he put some work ethic in my rear end,
yeah.
You know, at a young age. When I was 18, I think, when I went to work at Belmont Homes and didn't know much, you know, and he taught me a lot.
Yeah.
In that, both good and bad.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, he taught me a lot. He taught me a lot. And then I worked for another great man, O'Neill Wood. You know, he was a huge influence in my life, just teaching me business and, you know, how to save money and how to manage money. He's actually the one that taught me how to manage money. Not that I have any money, but he's the one that helped me, you know, learn what kind of things you spend your money on, what kind of things you don't.
Yeah.
You know? And so they were good influences in my life too.
All right, we got to take a break, Joey.
Okay, it's time for a break. Well, we'll bring you a break from the Bull Mountain Podcast. Take it away. When it comes to buying land, why not have a team to help you make the right decisions? Tyler and Dale Jeffries can be that team. After all, they've been a team since the beginning. With Tyler growing up playing football for his dad as his coach, they've become Team Jeffries. Now they're ready to make the next big play and a touchdown for you. Whether you're looking to buy, sell, lease, or even auction land, let Team Jeffries take you to the end zone and make your dreams a reality. Serving all of Alabama and Tennessee. Visit nationalland.com. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Bull Mountain Podcast, brought to you by Happy Hollow Outdoors. Dale, right now we're in the middle of turkey season.
Right.
So we're running a turkey competition at the store. How many turkeys you got in right now?
I believe it's number 10.
Number 10.
Came in yesterday evening right before quitting time.
Are they big birds or?
There's one that's going to be hard for anybody to beat it.
How much?
Everybody knows about it too.
Well,
you know, he's talked about it a little bit, and I mean that's fine. But he had 2 beards and had a pretty decent weight. You know, was what put the points up there. I mean, it's going to be tough to beat it. It can be beat, there ain't no doubt. But seemed like everybody's enjoyed it. You know.
Yes, had a great response.
I mean, you know, 10% of the money is going to be donated to St. Jude's. And the rest of it's going to be paid out to the top 3 places.
Yeah.
You know, we threw a little bit of prizes in there for the top 3. So, but that was just the idea that just popped up. I didn't know if it'd be worth a flip or not. But, you know, it seemed like some people's enjoyed it anyway.
Yeah,
you know?
It's turning out good.
Yeah.
Turning out real good.
But we'll announce the winners Saturday night, tomorrow night, and then we'll contact them Monday, you know, let them come pick their stuff up. So
that'd be good. I saw we got some kayaks in.
Got the kayaks in. Whenever I get back down there, I got to get the prices put on them, get them rolled around, and get that out.
I was trying to think of some new things we got at the store that we got in that people might not have seen lately.
The latest thing, let me think here. That Dan's hunting gear, you know, and it's kind of, I mean, it's late. I mean, it'll be fall before anybody will be needing much of that, if any of that, really. Got some competition hunting packs and stuff, you know, for dog hunters. And
those Rover coolers are nice.
Got the Rover coolers in. Yeah, they really nice. Got the wheel kit and cutting board and cup holders, drink holders, whatever you want to call it, you know, snap on to them.
Yeah.
Got a big selection of case knives, you know, adding to that pretty regular. I mean, whatever case let us get is what we're getting, you know. I mean,
working on a shoe and boot department. We're trying to grow it. It's going to be big.
So I noticed yesterday, I guess there's some more resistile boots had come in that had been on order for a while and finally came in. And that's something else. I mean, just because they offer it to order don't mean you're going to be able to get it tomorrow.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it may be, well, we ordered those. If I'm not wrong, we ordered those either the end of August or the 1st of September. And we got part of them immediately. And like I say, they just have come in, you know.
And this warmer weather's brought a lot of people in buying fishing tackle. And
oh, yeah. I always trying to see what the latest, greatest is, you know, to add to that. And that's something I'm 42 years old, but I was probably born 30 years too late or something. I'm a little bit old school, but I don't do no gaming or like Dustin Wayne there. You know, I just go, if I see something I think might work, if I'm wanting something else, I'll buy it and try it. And if it works, it works. If it don't, you know, I chunk it to the side or whatever. But you can always learn.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you can always learn new tricks or whatever, so it don't hurt to try things. But there's so much of that stuff. I mean, there ain't no way to stock everything. There is no way. I mean, we'd fill that whole store up with just tackle.
Yes.
Or just hunting accessories, you know, or just camping accessories. I mean, but we want to try to get what everybody wants or needs. If anybody needs anything, wanting anything that we don't have, I mean, if they'll let us know, we'll try to get it.
We'll do our best. That is true. That is true. Have you ever had a near-death experience?
A near-death experience? I can't think of nothing. I did talk back to Mama one time.
I think we all learned that lesson.
You know, that wasn't good. I won't tell y'all, this is a funny one. I don't know why this just popped in my head, but anyway, and then we'll get back to the near-death experience. I don't know what my sister had done. She had done something or other. Mother, she had just beating the brakes off of her, you know. I mean, she wasn't beating her. I mean, she was giving her a whooping. Well, I didn't want to watch this whooping, so I was sitting on the couch, and I just pulled a pillow up next to my head, you know. Mother got done whooping Lindy. The next thing I know, she reached around there and just popped me right in the face. You know, and what's that for? You know, squalling. That's what you get for laughing. Well, I wasn't laughing. You know, I just not wanting to see her get whooped, you know. Yeah. Well, you deserve that one anyway. You know. Oh, right here this is a good one. My sister, she'll really appreciate me putting this out there to clear everything up. So, you know, everybody goes through tight times, you know. Money pretty tight. So Mother, she'd buy us one box of Nestle ice cream crunch bars, you know, on a stick, you know what I'm talking about. And we could have one a day. Well, there's three of us eating them. Me, Landy, and Kevin, my oldest brother. So anyhow, I got up one Saturday morning, boy, I ate mine for breakfast, you know. I mean, I was done for the day, you know. So anyhow, mother, she was working at night down at Chevron on Saturday nights and Sunday nights then. So Daddy, he is gone. Yeah, I'm telling you wrong, that was on a Sunday. And Daddy, he'd got up, went and eat breakfast somewhere. Anyway, I'd eat that ice cream crunch bar and throw it in the garbage. You know, Mother knew I'd eat one, right? So anyway, she goes to work that evening. Well, Daddy didn't know I'd eat one. So I thought, I'm going to slip in there and eat another. So I did. But when I got to the garbage can, the son of a gun was empty. Just an empty bag. Everybody else done in the bed. I thought, man, Mama's going to come in. She going to say I'd eat another one, you know. So what did I do? I run to the bathroom and I throw that wrapper behind the dirty clothes basket. Why, I don't know. But anyway, so the next morning, Mother's waking us up for school. That's the first thing I seen that morning, is that wrapper in front of my face. Is this yours? No, that ain't mine. She went over there and whooped Lindy.
Oh, no.
That's how she woke Lindy up that morning, whooping her. She said, Lindy's a squalling and bellowing like Mother's beating her half to death. You know, what I do? You know what you done. No, I don't. You know, she's climbing the wall trying to get away from her. I sat over there and never said a word.
Poor Lindy.
Yeah, poor Lindy, man. That was one payback there for
one payback.
Some of the whooping she got me, I didn't deserve. Yeah. Lindy, she'll appreciate me putting that out there, though.
Near-death experience.
But, you know, I didn't tell about that until just a few years ago.
You kept that secret all this time.
And I think it was at Christmas dinners when I told it, you know. Yeah, Lindy wanted to get mad about it again, but, you know.
Let bygones be that.
35 years, you know, or something goes by. I mean, probably 30 years, no kidding. But anyway, it was all good. Near-death experience. I'm going to have to say closest I ever come down, I think, it's the first time I got on an airplane. I mean, no kidding. I didn't like that at all. Hands were sore for about 2 weeks because I was holding on to the seat. I don't know. I think it was like 3 hours and 2 minutes. It wasn't. You know, it took us to get from Memphis to Vegas. And, boy, I had a death grip. I mean, no kidding. My hands were sore for a couple of weeks because I held on so tight, you know, going out there. And somebody said it was anxiety. I don't really know what anxiety is. I thought I was having a heart attack. But I wouldn't have been a bit surprised if I'd have fell over dead there. The way I felt a couple of different times, you know, going out there, that son of a gun. Be going down through there and then just feel like it fall out of the dang sky and everybody just tickled to death, you know, and all this and that. But
well, I flew with you a couple of times. You hadn't got much better.
I still don't like it. The way I see it, if good Lord want me to fly, he'll give me feathers and wings. But I've got better, believe it or not. But I still don't like it. I poured sweat out of my boots when I got to the room after that first night.
It was
bad. Still ain't figured out why anybody wants to fly.
Because you get there a little bit quicker, Dale.
Yeah, but
I mean, it'd take us 3 days to get to Vegas. What takes us 3 hours?
Nah, I believe we could do it quicker than that. Surely.
But we'd be at more risk doing it quicker in a car than we do in a plane.
Yeah, I don't know how y'all figure that. You on the dang ground.
You on the ground, but you're surrounded by cars running 90 miles an hour, 6 inches from you every time you go by.
Yeah, we do that every day.
I know. So we're safer in that plane.
I don't know. There ain't no way.
Okay, it's time for another break on the Bull Mountain Podcast, brought to you by Happy Hollow Outdoors.
We at Happy Hollow Outdoors want to thank the public for our successful opening. For our loyal customers and for those who have never visited the store, know we continue to add new items to our store and continue to replenish our stock of interior items, gift items, boutique clothing, western wear, hunting and fishing supplies, firearms, and ammunition. At Happy Hollow Outdoors, we want to be your one-stop shopping destination.
Well, we're back to the Bull Mountain Podcast, the interview with Mr. Dale Raper. Dale, I'm going to start this part talking about Happy Hollow Outdoors.
All right, what you got?
Well, just, we've had a grand opening October the 28th.
Right.
And what you think of our progress from that point until now, and what you...
We're still learning,
Every day.
We're learning a lot of stuff. We're seeing stuff that we shouldn't have had in there.
Yeah.
I think we're finding things that we should have had.
Yes.
That we didn't. We're trying to buy smarter, so we can offer the products and different things at a better price for our customers. I didn't think customer service was going to be, I'm not going to say it's hard right now, but it's different than what I thought it was going to be. Have some odd requests, for different things and this and that. And if we ain't got it, we want to try to get it for the customers, and a lot of times, it's something that we can't get a hold of, or whatever. Yeah. But as far as our progress goes, we've been doing well, and it needs to be better. It can always be better.
Definitely needs to be better.
We should, like I said a minute ago, we still got a lot to do and a lot to learn. Website's going to help a whole lot. I can't hardly wait for that to get up. There's a lot of things we can't advertise on social media that we handle, that really needs to be advertised more, that we don't have really a platform to advertise for it right now.
Yeah, due to some restrictions and stuff.
I've had fun.
Yes, me too. I don't think we could work for better people than
not at all. That's what I was going to say. As good a people as they are, we ain't got no option but to hammer down.
That's right. That's right. What I found is some things I found. I came from the closeout world and liquidations where you buy opportunity.
Right.
Well, this is different because you're buying for the customer.
Right.
And you want to get the brands that the customers are shopping for.
Right.
And that's what surprised me the most about my transition is how difficult it is sometimes to get in the door with some of these customers and these name brands. And it's not as easy as just saying, hey, we're Happy Hollow Outdoors in Red Bay, Alabama. We want to carry your product. There's a lot of restrictions and a lot of guidelines and a lot of things you gotta wiggle into to get that stuff.
And something else that surprised me was mount pricing.
Uh-huh.
I just figured you could buy whatever and sell it for whatever you wanted to. You know what I'm saying? That ain't so. And then you got the ones that you contact wanting to get their products in the store, that brand or whatever, that won't let you because there's another store within. That one guy I talked to was within 120 miles.
Right.
120 miles, that's a couple of hours. You know what I'm saying? So you think that would be far enough away that it wouldn't matter. But, like that one guy we talked to, local guy pretty much, won't sell to us because of a guy less than, he's about 40 minutes away from us,
Yeah.
So it ain't just that easy to get that stuff. It's work.
It is. And work every day. But today, we had the guys from Fulton. Bubba Mendez was in the store, and they have their own clothing brand called Four Horsemen.
Right.
Caps and polo shirts and different things, and really high quality stuff. And I'm thankful they're out of Fulton, Mississippi. So we get to, get them in the store, and, we're helping out some local guys. They're helping out some local people. So I really like that opportunity a lot. And there's a few others locally that we get to work with, and I'm glad we do because we can help them, they can help us.
That was one thing at Lex always pushed or made sure he made mention of quite often, and to use local people, local as you could,
Exactly.
Try to keep a good relationship with them. That way you can take better care of each other that way.
Exactly. Well, I just want to get things in the store, and that way our local people can shop with us instead of having to go to Tupelo to pick up those name brand items that they're looking for, or Florence or Huntsville or Birmingham. So we can offer it here in Red Bay and let them shop close.
And I don't want the prices just to be to where they look at it and say, well, I'm going to have to spend this much in gas, so yeah, I can buy it down there cheaper. I want it to be cheaper right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to push. I mean, is that to not ever have to enter their mind, oh, I can get that better deal down there,
Yeah. We got a lot of deals and specials that we're working on now for spring that we're going to push out. We can't really talk about it right now, but we got a few other things coming in the works that we got some big things coming in the works we can't really talk about right now, but I'm looking forward to that, and that's going to be game changing as well.
Oh, that'll be exciting.
Yeah. Yes. So tell us about Greta getting hung up in a storm.
Oh, me and her getting hung up in a storm?
Yeah, at Big Bear.
That was during the week of the 4th. I don't remember the exact date. I'm trying to remember how long. It's been 10 years ago. So she is 11 years old. But anyway, we was going to go stay out all night. We left the campground about dark. Going to go put noodles out and a couple trot lines and got them put out. We was catching the far out of them too, boy. I mean, catching them like crazy. And the way up Big Bear, it gets narrow. All the trees, greened out and everything. So, I mean, you can't see a whole lot of the sky. But anyway, went to warming up pretty quick. Getting a good bit warmer. I told her, I said, there's a dang thunderstorm blowing up. And it was on us, I mean, just quick, bad. And I mean, we had a dadgum boat full of fish too. I mean, was catching the far at them. So we got where we was at, we got everything gathered up right quick and thought I had time, but I didn't have time. But what would usually take me 12, 13 minutes to run back to the camper, it took me 2.5 hours. Got back to the campground, and a couple of buddies' boats sitting over there. They had pulled them up on the bank, but they was sunk. It filled up with water. I mean, it got bad. Tornado went through just right there above the campground while we was headed back down the lake. The only reason I ever went to moving is because it was lightning so bad. I didn't want to be sitting still, in the lightning. So I just followed my GPS back all the way to the campground. But I get her up there in the camper. Yeah, here it is. I mean, it's bad. I mean, as bad a storms I've ever been in. And she's asleep. I put a rain suit on her, she pulled everything down tight. Sat there. She went to sleep on the ride back. And her mama's up there in the camper squalling like a baby. It was pretty funny when it was all said and done. It wasn't funny at the time. But, yeah, that's the worst storm I ever been in.
Well, and that story says a lot within itself. Greta falls asleep in the middle of a humongous storm, but she was with her father in a storm, and she knew she was all right.
Yeah.
And I wish we could all live that way every day, knowing that we're in our Father's.
If we trusted our Father that much.
Exactly. We could sleep through the storms.
And we're supposed to trust God that much.
You're exactly right. It's just,
it's hard.
To do.
I mean,
it's hard to do.
Living in these bodies we got.
Yeah. You're exactly right. That's a great story within itself, though. So lessons and everything. Dustin here has got a list of questions for me to ask you.
This ought to be interesting.
But I'm just going to tell you up front, I'm not going to ask you on a date.
You wouldn't get it no how.
What's your favorite food?
Favorite food? I'm going to have to say it'd be pintos and cornbread.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Lonesome Dove.
Favorite music?
Oh, I ain't much on this new country.
I'm going to say Bellamy Brothers.
They one of them.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. It'd be a hard choice between Merle Haggard, George Jones, and Keith Whitley.
Oh, Keith Whitley. You can't beat Keith Whitley. Or any of them that you just mentioned. They're the forefronters. Okay, so it looks like it's getting time for another break. Or are we running out of time for another break? Okay. We'll take another break from the Bull Mountain Podcast, brought to you by Happy Hollow Outdoors. Okay, now we're back to the Bull Mountain Podcast, brought to you by Happy Hollow Outdoors. We're going to bring in Dustin Edmonson.
This ought to be real interesting.
Folks, welcome Dustin Edmonson. He's our filmographer.
Yep.
And he does a lot of editing and stuff for these videos that you see that we film. He follows Dale around and filming hunting and fishing.
What a blessing that is.
A lot of different things. But Dustin sent off and did the genealogy test.
Yeah, so it's called 23andMe, and basically
you can't even spell 23andMe.
Well, it's got numbers in it, so I can put,
Yeah, go ahead.
Anyway, so you spit in a little cup, and then you send it off, and then you got this.
If I done that, they'd say, "Hey, man, you 98% red seal."
Yeah, that's what I said. That's because you're not supposed to eat 30 minutes before you do it and stuff. And I told my wife if I did it right now, I'd come back as 98% of hot Cheeto.
Yeah, hot Cheeto or Chick-fil-A.
Yeah. But you have this app, and it tells you like after they go through your DNA and stuff, it tells you like where your ancestors come from, or where your genes come from and stuff. And so like mine was like 98% European, but it said that I had 2% Neanderthal.
Okay, I get that. So tell me, how many people in the world have a percentage of Neanderthal?
2% Neanderthal and 98% moron.
Well, look, okay, so it said that with the 2% that I had more than 86% of the population that had Neanderthal genes in them. So
all of us do.
So
Apparently.
The rest of them is, so you said 86% and 2%, that's 88. So that leaves 12%, right?
Yeah.
So 12% is hybrid,
Or that they don't.
clones.
I don't
They
know.
gonna be clones.
That's a good question. I don't know.
So going back to the
I
debate,
think you got ripped off.
No, it was just $100.
Ripped off out of 100.
So going back to the conversation, we were talking about cavemen.
Yes. Yeah, I was asking Dale about that.
Caveman. I mean, I'm sure there's probably men that's lived in caves,
I mean, it's natural shelter, so we had to be.
Well, I
cavemen.
mean, I can show you some shelters right now, some bluff shelters, and I mean, with what we can dig up right there, shows exactly how they lived. I mean, trash pit at one end, you finding stuff out in front of it, and the dirt's a whole lot richer right here, right out in front of it. So they've done studies on it. I mean, all kind of archaeologists and everything else, I mean, they would take trees or whatever and prop up and build shelters out in front of that bluff, you know what I'm saying? I mean, all that. But so was that Bluff Man? Is that what they was called?
I don't know where cavemen originated from, but I think so.
I'm gonna say it was somebody probably doing acid.
I mean, it could, how the 60s were.
But go ahead.
Anyway, so I guess kind of the question was, we're talking about like, you're talking about Adam and Eve, being the beginning of mankind and stuff. And I asked about, well, what about these cave paintings that they say they found, from that they say they date back as like 20,000, 30,000 years ago. And that would predate like the BC era,
So that means it's bull BC.
pre BC.
You're saying there's people before Adam and Eve?
No. I'm just saying.
Well, what are you saying?
I'm just saying. I was wondering where cavemen, do you think cavemen existed, and if they did, like at what point in time?
Well, yeah, cavemen existed, but not like the the cavemen that are represented in the in the world where they're all covered in hair with a big club. I don't think
they're
that
smart. They're like smarter than that.
Well, yeah, I mean it was a natural shelter.
Right.
Was a cave, so we had cavemen that probably looked like us that just had to work with what they had to work with.
Right. True.
You know what? I'm most thankful for the empty cave that we've got.
Yes, sir.
That's true. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So,
But no. So you actually believe
I'm not saying what I
in this
believe.
hired up ape looking something? Walk around, me, whatever, You believe that?
No, not necessarily. I think there was some pretty dumb people in the past.
Well, there's dumb people right now.
Yeah, no,
I
I agree. No,
I'm one of them. I mean,
it's so easy a caveman can do it.
Right. Yeah, the Geico. Was it Geico that did that?
Yeah,
I mean, I'm bad slow myself,
Yep. What about aliens? You ever seen a UFO?
Good night of living. I mean, I don't know the identity of everything that's flying around up there, but so I guess I could say, yeah, I've seen something that I could not identify.
That technically is a UFO.
Aliens, you're full of bull.
You don't think there's aliens whatsoever?
No. Why do you think they are?
Well,
that's a deep subject.
it is. Apparently they say that that there's trillions and trillions of stars and galaxies and stuff, and then quadruple that by planets that revolve around stars. And so they say, the percentage of there being intelligent life somewhere else is the possibility is pretty high.
Okay, so what are you going to gain from knowing that? What are you going to gain from having that knowledge?
Not much, just knowing that, like.
What do you mean, not much? You ain't going to gain nothing from it. Nothing.
Not until they beam down the cure for cancer or something
Right.
like that.
Yeah.
Is it going to matter?
True. Some
So
people think there's aliens.
why waste your time doing that when you could be doing something productive? Like you could be editing instead of reading about that.
Hey, speaking
Getting
of
some of
which,
these films out there that need to be out there.
speaking of which, if you're watching this, the podcast, watching it, so just listen to it. Just know there's no angles right now going switching back and forth because I was the only one controlling it. So just putting that out there.
Yeah, we put him to work behind the
If
microphone.
he has to do
instead of-
anything before he can put this out, it'll be out in a month or something probably.
It'll be out tonight. It's Friday, April. What's today?
Today's the 5th.
The 5th. Yeah, it'll be out tonight. Yep. But so you don't believe? What if we make? What if?
Go ahead.
What if we make contact with aliens and then they had some like really good resources that we could trade with them?
I mean, that's all good if that ever happens, but
What if a
It hadn't
frog had
happened yet.
wings? He wouldn't bump his butt when he jumped, would he? Huh?
Okay, let's see here. What we?
Is that all you wanted to that?
Yeah, I think that's I guess that would kind of segue into you go to church pretty regularly, don't you?
Yes, sir.
What,
Still rough around the edges, but I go.
where do you go to?
Vinyl First Baptist.
First Baptist. Is that where you met your wife?
No,
Amanda?
nope. I knew who Amanda was for a long time before we ever started dating. I probably don't need to tell where we met at and how we met and all that.
Okay.
It ain't just real bad or nothing, but
Yeah,
I mean, it is
yeah.
what it is, But no, we got married March 18th of 2000. So been married just a little over 24 years. Got 2 girls. Got Greta, she's 21 years old, and Alex, she'll be 15 just here shortly. It's been trying times, just like it is with everybody, I'm sure. But it has been, and I can say this with all honesty, because, sitting around the shop working or whatever, you hear this and that and griping about their wife don't cook or their wife don't do this or their wife does that. I ain't never been able to do that much scrapping. It's been great.
Well,
If it wouldn't have been for her, there's no telling where I'd be.
Oh, I think we can, all three of us can sit
know?
here and say that. I'm definitely blessed with mine, and don't know why she hung around as long as she has.
That's me. I mean, like I was talking about earlier, neglecting my family, to tournament fish. Oh, I don't know why she put up with that. I mean, I look back now, and if the shoe would have been on the other foot, I wouldn't have put up with it. But I thank God that she did, I mean, so what about you? Dustin, tell us a little bit about yourself. Since
myself?
you over here, you ain't never in front of this camera or nothing.
I'm usually the guy behind the camera. I think I look better behind the camera, but
So you're up from over around Mooreville, Mississippi.
that was where my wife's originally from.
Okay.
We live in Fulton.
But you're from Amory, Mississippi, right?
Yes. Technically, I'm from Alabama originally.
Where?
Fat.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
What?
close to you.
Fayette,
I'm from
Alabama.
Lamar
That's-
County.
Say that again.
Fat.
They ain't
Fayette.
nobody ever pronounced Fayette, Alabama.
That's
as
how I pronounce
Fayette.
it. That's how I pronounced it growing up.
Fayette.
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 Fayette. F-E-T. Negative.
Fayette.
It's Fayette.
I-
Go ahead.
Anyway.
It's like Fay
Oh.
Chevette. Fayette.
Fayette. It sounds so country.
So how long was you in Fayette?
I was born in Tuscaloosa, and then my father died when I was like 2 weeks old. He had lung cancer, and so I didn't know him growing up. So just me and my
Right.
mom, and we lived in Fayette in a little house for. We lived there for. I was probably, I don't know, I was around second grade when we moved. We moved to Vernon, and then
Was your dad from Fayette?
I think so. Yeah. Yeah, because he met, he was, Lord, I'm telling off of my mom here, but she was in her 20s, and he was like 20 years older than her, and he ran the skating rink. He also did hosted radio
So
show.
that stuff's kind of in your blood,
Yeah,
then.
a little bit, yeah. Tinkered around with
That's pretty
TVs
neat,
and stuff,
man.
yeah.
It is.
And so they met there, and that actually I was actually not the firstborn. I had a sister, and she died when she was 11 months old. She also had cancer, had to amputate her arm, but
Terrible.
yeah. So yeah, I think when I was first born, my mom was kind of afraid to get too attached to me just because of all that
Right.
trauma and stuff, but she kept me around.
It worked out.
Yeah,
That's all right.
yeah, and
Vernon's where I'm from.
yeah,
That's
we
what I was
lived in-
fixing to say. That's your neck of the woods.
We lived in Vernon for a little bit, and then we moved to Winfield, and then back to Fayette, and then finally she. I always say this, that she never could keep a boyfriend because I was
Probably
like,
because I was having to put up with you.
yeah, that's exactly right. I was Dennis the Menace. I didn't want the. I guess in my mind, then I thought, oh, they're gonna take my mom away from me. I mean, I did some. I mean, I'd go off telling some tales if I were to just go off on a tangent, but we ain't got time for all that. But
Yeah.
Anyway, she finally met a guy at a church in Amory, who's now my stepfather. His name's Jeff Stanford, and they got married when I was 14. And we were gonna move, and he had a house already. We were gonna move there. It was in Aberdeen, but oddly enough, it burned down right before we were gonna move, so we ended up staying in Amory.
Yeah.
Stuff. So, and that's where I was. So I graduated, and then got married to my wife, and we moved to Fulton. So my folks are still. My mom and dad are still in Amory, and the rest of my family, they live in Winfield and Alabama area.
Yeah.
So
What about your youngins?
my youngins, we have a boy and a girl. My son's name's Paul, and he was born in January 2017, and I guess I was 26, 27 when he was born. And then my daughter, she's 4. She's about to be 5 this next month, and she was born 2019 May and stuff. And they keep me busy for sure. My daughter, she's she's real big in the pageant world.
queen.
If you ever go to my social media and see anything on my Facebook or my wife's and stuff, I mean, it's usually all about her and stuff. And it's funny, you cannot. It's so weird how you can have two children from the same parents, and they could be the difference between night and day. I mean, that is just. I never realized that until after having my own kids. Because my son, he could care less about, being on stage or getting too much attention and stuff. He just wants to do his own thing and just, let him be and stuff. My daughter, she wants your attention every time she walks to the door, she's even gotten jealous of the dogs one time because we pet them too much. She sit over there, start crying. I'm like, what's wrong with you? She's like, you don't love me like the, and like, baby, that's so it's really funny just the difference between those two kids. But
they are different. I got two boys. Chandler's 25 and lives in Decatur and coaches baseball and teaches at Huntsville High School.
Yeah.
And Chase is 23 and he's graduating next month with an aerospace engineer degree.
Wow.
And he plans to be in the Huntsville area too. And they're real tight. I mean, they're like best friends. They're always together when they have the opportunity, but daylight and dark.
Yeah. That's
both of them, they're a lot alike in a lot of ways, but then a lot different in a lot
That's
of
what
ways.
Greta and Alex says. They're a whole lot alike in some ways, but in the ways they're not, is polar opposite.
Yes.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if, when they were younger or not, y'all's kids just argue till they're blue in the face.
Yeah. Still do.
Yeah, we didn't know it. We didn't know it.
Yeah.
We hear about it now.
Right.
Because they tell us stories about things that happened that we didn't know about, like you with Lynn.
Yeah.
But they
kept it pretty well.
Greta, let's see. So Greta was she was nearly 7 when Alex was born. Right, yeah, nearly 7 when Alex was born, but yeah, they've always, just as soon as Alex got big enough to talk, they went to arguing, and still do. But you better not let somebody else say something about the other one in front of them. You know what I mean? I mean, they'll get sideways quick, fast, and in a hurry.
She could call Greta or Alex to call each other whatever they want.
Yeah, that's fine and dandy.
Let someone else say something, you better. Yeah. Oh, I know Greta. Alex too. She's she's tough. They're both tough. I remember when I met them. Yep. But
you better get back over there with it. And
Well,
good to have you with us.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dustin.
Yeah.
You got any more questions?
I think that's pretty good for now.
What else do you have wrote down?
I'm on the wrong page. We covered it.
Got it covered?
I think so. Yeah, we got it covered.
All right.
I'd like to do this one, Dale.
What?
What you about to do?
Go ahead.
Acts chapter 3.
Let me look at that. Chapter 3. All right,
Acts chapter 3, probably my favorite story in the Bible. Do you want to read it? The first 3 or 4 down to about 6, I guess.
Acts 3, start verse 1.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Acts chapter 3, verse 1 says, Now Peter and John went up together into the temple at the hour of prayer, being the 9th hour. And a certain man, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that entered into the temple, who seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple asked an alms. And Peter, fastening his eyes upon him with John, said, Look on us. And he gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them. Then Peter said, Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. In the name of Jesus Christ of Nazareth, rise up and walk.
I'll cut you off right there. And then the man ran into the temple,
right,
and everybody saw with amazement because they knew this man had been there lame from birth. This was after Jesus rose from the dead and told them to go out into the world. So that just tells us we're all here for a reason. We don't know when that reason is going to be revealed or how it's going to be revealed. But just like that man there, we have a witness.
That's it.
To proclaim and share the gospel, and we have a reason to be on this earth. That man ran into the temple, showing that Jesus was very much still alive.
Yep.
So he probably proclaimed Jesus to millions of people from that point on.
Right. Through
that story. So I think about that daily. You know, what are we here for? What are we supposed to do? How, you know, we're supposed to love each other, treat people with kindness, and help each other when we can.
And, you know, we know what we're supposed to be doing. We're still born into this sinful body.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I may have said sinful body. I mean, we're low bred right out of the gate.
You're right out of the gate. You're right.
I mean, that's just all there are to it, you know, and we'll give the devil too much credit sometimes too for our wrongdoings, you know. Yeah. I mean, but we're supposed to strive to be more Christ-like. And I fail so many ways.
I sin every day. I don't mean to. Looking back on it, I do. But
well, I mean, even if you won a day that you didn't, you know, you sat back and looked, so I didn't do anything out of the way today. Well, there's sins of omission too. Mm-hmm. You know, that's a sin you didn't even know you committed. You know, maybe you're supposed to witness to somebody. You're supposed to actually physically speak to somebody, you know, witness to them or help that little old lady cry. I mean, there's something you done that you or didn't do that you were supposed to have, you know. But the great thing about that is we can be forgiven for that too if we so choose to be.
Exactly. If we just count our blessings, you know, I'm blessed beyond anything I could ever deserve.
Oh, yeah.
Got a beautiful
without a doubt.
wife, a great wife, 2 great kids. I mean, what else could I ask for?
Yeah.
You know?
Don't deserve any of it.
No. I got a job I enjoy.
Yeah.
I got to work with people I enjoy. Who am I? You know, I mean,
his love is amazing, to say the least.
Yes, sir.
You got anything else, Dustin? Joey, you gonna close us out?
I guess that closes us out then. I don't know how you've been doing it. I didn't.
Just say that's it, folks.
That's it, folks. We thank you for participating and watching or listening to us, and we'll close this episode of Bull Mountain Podcast, brought to you by Happy Hollow Outdoors. Y'all have a great day.